Welcome to Editorials for You 217 Celebrity News, where Hollywood secrets spill, reality stars shake the internet, and the biggest celebrity stories unfold. Hit subscribe to stay ahead of the gossip because the tea is always hot over here. Let's dive right in.
Hey guys, and welcome back. Well, some family feuds are private, quiet affairs. Now, this is not one of them. The long and very public turmoil within the McKnight family has reached what might be its most heartbreaking point. Brian McKnight Jr. recently sat down for a raw, emotional interview and talked about his brother Nico's final days. Now, in that interview, he discussed an absolutely devastating account from his brother about their famous father, Brian McKnight. So what could a child possibly do to have their parent deny them 3 simple words on their deathbed? Yes, you heard me. According to the family story, all Nico McKnight wanted as he was losing his 2-year battle with cancer was to hear his father say, "I love you." Now, the response he allegedly received is just chilling. We're going to get into this staggering claim. 3 years of public fighting that led to this moment and how Brian McKnight Sr. is defending himself. So get comfortable because this is a truly painful story about a family completely fractured by fame and ego. And it's no last chance to say, oh, okay, I want to make this up. All right, let's get straight into the claim that has everyone talking. Now, Brian McKnight Jr. and his mother, Julie McKnight, recently gave a detailed interview to Mark Lamont Hill, where they laid it all out. But the most devastating story they shared actually came from Nico himself before he passed away. Now, years of public feuding had already taken their toll. And back in 2024, while in the hospital, Nico posted about a conversation he had with his father. He wrote that he just wanted to bury the hatchet and hear his dad say he loved it. Now, the response that I'm not even going to call him Mr. Brian McKnight. I'm going to say Brian McKnight, asshole, gave his son. Nico said, he told me he couldn't arbitrarily tell me he loves me. Now, in the more recent interview, Brian McKnight Jr. described getting a call from his sobbing brother after that exchange, calling it one of the darkest and coldest and most disheartening memory of his life. Now, Brian McKnight Jr. says he had warned Nico not to call Brian McKnight their father, telling him, "Dad is gone. I can't arbitrarily say that I love you." That's the quote at the center of this. As if telling your own child you love them is some random act that needs justification. Now, the word arbitrarily suggests a kind of cold, calculated distance that's hard to imagine in a parent-child relationship, let alone one in such a tragic situation. This baby was on his deathbed. This allegation has sparked outrage and disbelief online, with many seeing it not just as neglect, but as active emotional cruelty. Now, just stopping for a second, this is obviously heavy stuff. If you're finding this story as unbelievable as I am and want more breakdowns like this, please hit that like button and subscribe. It really does help the channel. Now, all right, I'm going to get back to this devastating story. Now, to even begin to understand how a relationship could get to this point, you have to look back. Now, this isn't a new fight. This is a wound that's been festering in public for years. Now, the family drama centers on Brian McKnight's four eldest biological children. It consists of Brian Jr. and Nico, who passed away this year from his marriage to Julie McKnight. Then he has a daughter, Brianna, and a son, Clyde, from another relationship. Now, things really took a public nosedive around 2019 when McKnight started calling his children entitled in videos, even while insisting he had always provided for them. Now, the rift seemed to widen after his marriage to his current wife, Leilani Mendoza. Now, Brian McKnight began to publicly praise his stepchildren while at the same time distancing himself from his biological kids, creating a painful dynamic in a new perfect family versus an old discarded family. Isn't that crazy? Now, this all exploded in April 2024 with his infamous Instagram comments. Now, while responding to fans, Brian McKnight seemed to endorse the ideal of cutting off evil and negativity, even if it's your family. Now, this is what he said. When challenged with the Bible, he reportedly replied that God wasn't talking about children that are the product of sin, which he said that his four biological children were. Now, he essentially suggested his children were a mistake that needed to be erased for him to be happy. Now, Nico, who was already sick, responded online, calling his father logic wild, and even tweeted a shocking allegation about having to clean up after his father's affairs when he was married to his mother as a teen. Now, perhaps the most symbolic act in this whole saga was the name change. Now, in October 2023, Brian McKnight Sr. and his wife, Leilani, had a baby boy. They named him Brian Mako Jr. Now, the problem, he already had a son named Brian McKnight Jr. Now, to justify this, the singer announced that he had legally changed his own name to Brian Mako McKnight Sr. just so his newborn could be his junior. Isn't that crazy? Sorry. Now, the message to many was painfully clear. He was creating a new lineage and, as some saw it, effectively erasing his firstborn son. Now, he posted on Instagram that he wanted his new son and the world to know that he is the one who is my true legacy. The original Brian McKnight Jr. responded with incredible dignity, saying, "I'm not ashamed of the name my ancestors had. I'll never change the name my own son now has. We are witnessing an obscene level of self-hate. This move was widely seen as a public declaration that his original family was being replaced." Now, to be fair, let's look at Brian McKnight's side of the story. He has not been silent. After Nico passed away this year in May, McKnight posted a video on Instagram criticizing his own brother Claude McKnight for announcing Nico's death on TikTok. Now, he called the announcement tasteless, an attempt to turn the tragedy into a reality show type drama. Now, in that same video, McKnight presented his version of events. He claimed that he and his wife had offered Nico extensive medical help, he stated. The last time he and I spoke, we offered him all the help we could provide. We had the number one oncologist on deck for him and a team of specialists on standby with private care in our home. Now, according to Brian McKnight, that help was declined by Nico and his mother, Julie. He then took a direct shot at his ex-wife, Julie, saying, "To the self-proclaimed mama bear, may God have mercy on your soul for not allowing him to accept that help." Now, this version of events is directly contradicted by a source who told Page 6 that Brian did not contact or see Nico before his death. What is wrong with this Negro? I don't know. But I am banning Brian McKnight. I used to love Brian McKnight. Music, I was a Brian McKnight fan. But this ninja has really, really, really got a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know about y'all mouth, but this Negro can't say nothing to me. I'm sorry. I just had to let that out. That just, okay. Let me gain my composure. Conclusion. So here we are. A family is completely shattered. Now, Nico passed away at just 32 years old after a terrible fight with cancer. Now, his uncle described him as a quirky and curious and ridiculously talented young man. His mother, Julie, called his passing an immeasurable loss. And in the midst of all this grief, we have these soul-crushing allegations. Now, the family claim is that Nico's final wish was to hear his father say 3 words, "I love you," only to be met with a cold response, "I can't arbitrarily say that I love you." Now, meanwhile, Brian McKnight Sr. insists he offered help that was refused and say he finds great comfort in knowing that God knows the truth. Now, he seems to see himself as the one who has been wronged. But now he doesn't say anything about him saying "I can't arbitrarily say that I love you." I'm sorry. It's an absolute tragedy for every angle. It's a story of estrangement, public humiliation, and a final heartbreaking plea for love that was allegedly denied. What do you all think about this? You heard me. I think Brian McKnight is just a dirty, low-down dog. That's what I think. And I think we need to cancel Brian McKnight. Even though he ain't made nothing new, but still. If you want to cancel R. Kelly, let's definitely cancel Brian McKnight. Come on, y'all. But I want to hear what y'all think about this. Is there any justification for what was said? Brian McKnight telling his son, that his dying son at that he can't tell him that he loves him? Come on now. Divorces happen every day, but you don't put your children down. You just don't go and marry somebody else and say, "Oh, fuck, I ain't got no other children. These are my children. My stepchildren are my children, and my newborn is my children. But I'm just going to F the other children." Come on now. And then put God in the situation, in this equation. Oh, Brian McKnight got something coming to his black ass. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep this simple. So I just answered that question that I asked you. Is there any justification for what Brian McKnight did? No. Mm-mm. Or do you think there's more to Brian McKnight Sr.'s side that we aren't seeing? It couldn't possibly be nothing. I mean, there could not possibly be anything to make you not tell your son, your child, that you love him. I don't care what type of disagreement you had. Okay? All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. Now, this is one of the most tragic celebrity family stories I have ever covered. Now, after my long speech, I am just speechless. All right, guys, I want to hear from you. Press that comment button. Let's discuss this. And am I wrong or am I right? Either way, I want you to let me know. I want to know your thoughts. Thank you so very much for watching my video. I hope that you will like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And as always, imparting, be blessed, y'all. Be blessed.